All right, so this to let you know, this is the bolt that we screw that we use to get that up on there. So it's that little like crown-ish top. Again, whenever you're screwing into plastic, the threads tend to be a little thick. Sorry, the threads tend to be thicker. So here you go. This is a T25. And can you turn it this way? Yeah, right. It this way. Yeah. So you can see where that goes. The throttle linkage slides down into there. Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. So that's that. We want to let's see, get a wrench on that there. And it's not too much because obviously it's plastic. You know what I mean? So, perfect. Okay, so that's that. Now that we have that there, we're going to try to get this entire setup now. All right, here we go. So we have a couple of interesting things to happen. The kit that I got, it came with a gasket for a replacement gasket, but we're going to, it's not the same shape, so we're going to reuse this one. Now you got to make sure, this has witness marks on it, so you can kind of see, the pattern here, and these witness marks match this right here. It's also keyed, so you can't really mess it up. And so we're going to reuse this gasket because it's still soft, so it should keep a good seal. You'll see how we do. So we put that in.
And witness marks go down.
Yeah, witness marks go down. And then,
line up.
Yeah, these are those holes. See, they're all lined up. Make sure those holes line up because you don't want to block the passages. They need to have air. Right, so we have the gasket back on here again. We had to figure out which bolts we had the wrong bolts on there. It's these. You see, one of them has a washer. The one with the washer is going to also sit on top of the slide with the washer. So. And these are both T25s. Sorry.
What's this
came off. That should be the...
on here?
Yeah. You have to put the washer on first, the metal one. Right there.
I thought the washer goes on top.
It goes on top of that, yeah. I mean, the choke has to go on with the washer, and then the black one with the washer goes on top of that. Yeah. So we do, you kind of lift it up just to help you, it helps you see if you're going down straight into the holes. Perfect. Now these are a little tight fit, so, you know, usually kind of like back off when you're like feeling you're not, you know, you're gonna cross thread, but I mean, kind of verified it. Can't really get any more accurate than what we're doing. How's it feeling? Is it going in?
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
With some effort.
That's some effort. All right. It's better than totally loose. Yeah. So you want to tighten this evenly on the way down. Because, you know, it's a good habit to have, because you got to work on bigger things. You have this behavior pattern well ingrained because you end up like warping surfaces when you tighten things irregularly. So you can see how the choke works. It's kind of cool. Nice, it's good, yeah. Again, don't torque this crazy because it is going into plastic. It just needs to be flat and flush. So we have here our choke. See how that closes it off? So that way we can increase the amount of, increase or decrease the amount of like air-fuel mixture. Okay, so that's good. It looks like we did a good job. I'm just double check this real quick. Just to feel, it's 225, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Just want to get a feel for that. Okay. Okay, that's really nice. Okay, perfect. All right, moving on. All right, so here's a better way to do this, right? Before we actually attach the carburetor to the body, just go ahead and connect it now, right? That way you have a lot more room to adjust. See, like that? Okay, cool. And then once you're done that, just do what we did in the, whatever. It's gonna be filmed. Ah, never mind. Just do it that way. Bye. Go for it. So you can see right here, we have it all set up. The throttle's being pulled. You can see it moving back and forth like that. Again, I can't stress this enough. If you're fighting with this and it's not the L hook, the hook is not all the way around like that, you're going to break that off. It's super brittle, and it's I think it's Chinesium, you know. So Chinesium breaks easily. Don't do it. All right. See that rat tail? That needs to be tucked into that. So we actually have to pull this off again. All right, so we pulled it back apart again. This line, this part here goes into that. So we're gonna cut it right around here. Right there, is that good?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna slide that in. Put it back together for the third time. Okay. And this line will go into the back of that. You can see. A little tight? Okay, too little? Oh, it's tight in diameter. I got you.
Oh, we're good.
There it is. No, it's not. Let's go. Oh, your thumb is crazy. Like how it just bends like 90 degrees.
Oh.
Yikes. Are you human? What the hell, man? What is that? You've not noticed your thumb can do that?
Mm-mm.
Dude. Dude, come on.
You can't do that?
Dude. Look at that. What the hell?
You can't.
Ah! She's not human. Ah, look at that thing. Come on, man. That's crazy talk. What? Oh, hold on. Come on, show us her thumb. I'm trying, ladies and gentlemen. Go up somewhere. I am actually trying. That's a banana. She has that is crazy. What the hell? Freaks of nature. All right. So this is the back part of the choke that's gonna go on there, right? And it has an air filter. Actually, this is the air filter. Sorry. Now this air filter here is. Let's talk about what happened, right? It's kind of wet, right? And it's wet because it has like fuel on there, fuel and oil mixture, and you can see it goes all the way down, all the way around. We have another air filter. It doesn't go all the way down to the side. It's close enough, right? So this is what we're gonna use. We're gonna use this part number air filter right here. It's 7530614. So look at that. 7530617. Jesus, dyslexia. Anyway, so that's the air filter we're gonna use. Right, we're gonna put that one in there, and yeah, I'm just gonna just get that out. put that in. Now, what I think happened, right, with this, I believe this is what happened. Because this is wet, I thought, this is what I think was happening to this. The carburetor was actually getting, it wasn't, the fuel was getting backed up because it was getting clogged, right? And it started to bleed into the air filter. The air filter started to get wet. When the air filter gets wet, right, it's you see it starts to, it's burning here too, so it's kind of running hot. This is not able to let the air flow into the actual venturi of the carburetor. So the air-fuel mixture is going to be very, very rich, right? When it's rich, right, you're going to see, you won't get a lot of power because you can't get on the high end, won't run well, and it's going to like idle kind of weird. So that's what I think was happening, how this is decaying. So we want to place that on there now. This has 2 T25 bolts on there. I never pull them out, so they just, yeah. If you want to pull them out now, it's up to you. But anyway, if you want to show them, it doesn't matter because I didn't pull them out. But anyway, they're 2 T25s. We're just gonna like screw that down onto there. Choke. Make sure to choke when you screw this on. The choke completely covers the venturi, the passage for the venturi. Okay, and this kind of clicks, so this needs to be tight, but not tight enough that this doesn't turn. It just sits in those grooves right there. Okay, yeah, and then very kindly offered you, I got you, offered you up these wonderful, you're welcome, so you can see what they look like. Okay, and they're T25s. Good job. Awesome. So, we're going to screw this back together. And then we'll see what we can get out of this for you, so you can see. So it just goes into metal. Interesting. I see. Any of you fans of that new show on HBO called The Watchmen? Yeah, I'm sure some of you probably will watch it. I started watching it. It's pretty good. I like it. I recommend it. And I'm not a HBO shill, so I'm just saying. It's a good show. Alright, slow down there, Thor. What you're tightening. Feels good, though. Alright. Yeah, that's nice. Nice. Awesome. Great. So that's that. Air filter's in. We want to now, we'll probably, yeah, looks good. Wow, it's amazing. So I want to get this head off. I didn't show you how to properly remove this, but I'll give you an idea. These tabs here, you squeeze them in. So they're in here like that. Squeeze them and they pop out, and then that goes on top of this, like that. The spool. And the center part here that falls out, no need to worry, that right there, those grooves sit in there. So I want to get this off so I can actually, I want to see if I can lubricate this. So I think I got to throw some adjustables on here. Okay. I should be able to turn that off. There you go. Now I don't know for sure if this is has some bearings in there I can lubricate, but I think so because it spins. So if it spins, there's a chance that something gets lubricated. Let's see, what the heck is that? So that just... It just has threads in it. Okay, that comes off. This looks a little... Oops, sorry. Yeah, I can get a better view. Okay, so that was that was on like that. And it looks like it got a little chewed up in here. I don't know if it's plastic or not, but here it looks okay. So it spins here. It's all one piece. You know what I think? The only thing I'm going to be able to do is probably grease the inside of this shaft here. This bolt here looks like this just kind of like does it sit inside of that? Yeah, I just don't know the condition of it. You can see how that looks. Definitely sits on top of this nut like that. How does that come out? Lefty loosey. Okay, I think at this point of the game I can just kind of like clean this up and call it a quits. I think I'll just grease it from the other side. But I am interested in how this works. Like what makes this stay here. I don't know. What do you think? Should we explore a little bit more? Yeah, let's do it. So it took a little time to clean this up. And I noticed that, you know, when we took this off, it had a lot of these little pieces in there. It looks like something got chewed up. I'm not sure what it is. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, here are the pieces. I'll just clean these up a little bit. What I really want to do is a pressure washer, wash them. I'll get around to doing that. But for now, that's what we have. That's what we're going to use. And let's just put this back together, shall we? So this goes around the nut right here. I think I'm going to grease it through here. You know what? Let me think about this. I think I want to spray some brake parts cleaner in here and just turn it and rinse it out. Okay. Squishy, squishy, squishy. You should wear glasses when you do this stuff. Ruin your eyes. Can you see anything? I'm just trying to clean this out. Like I said, I was unsuccessful at getting this off, so I'm not sure how to do it. I don't want to go that deep into it. It's not really not necessary. Well, it is. Okay, there's two things going on here. I don't want to do it. Second, maybe let's give this a little bit of a grease job. I'm just using this red grease. Nothing too special. I just got it from the. Oh, did I just break? Wow, lame. Okay. greased out a little bit, and put my broken cap back on. No resentment there whatsoever. Nope. Okay. Shaft should slide down quite nicely in there. Now the shaft, I cleaned it off, and I notice it has, you know, see the bevel sides? So they're even, so I don't remember which side was not down and which one was not. Anyway, so doesn't matter. We're going down. So I'm just gonna work it back and forth. So make sure the grease goes all the way down. Alright, so we'll leave that at that because we're probably gonna have to try to do some shenanigans to attach that. Let's get this back together. So we have this, this just slides onto the nut like that. This screws into that. Remember that now. Grab the adjustables here, just kind of hold this. Alright. So that spins. Okay, and we want to get put this back together. So this has some line on it. Thick stuff too. Wow, I like. See slides on this. This side up, wind that way. That's more instructions than any of the other lines I've had. I mean trimmers that I've had. Okay, this side up. Okay. So it looks like you only get only one hole for this to come out. So, you know, like, oops. You know, like usually you'll get a. Okay. Usually you'll get a two exit holes. There's one there, and turn you down a little bit more. Get a better view. What I was saying is there's one hole here, and there's you can look and see there's no other exit holes, so the line only comes out on one side, and this is up. The teethy part of this thing here slides into these grooves, so you can see. So those grooves right there. Alright, so that goes like that. This kind of just slides inside there, so put that in like that. Let's feed that through. Oops. Okay. So that goes on like that. These two clips on the side just slide in like that. Famous last words. At least I think it should. Okay. So that's not. This feels like it's not down far enough. So Let me give you a better angle so you can see. Yeah, that's better. So my issue is this top part here. Doesn't want to go all the way down. Goes all the way down now. So squeeze the side. Pop it out, right? Now this here. There's nothing special about the shaft. Unless I have this upside down. And that's why it won't go in. So we'll see. Okay, so that's not gonna work, right? So when it says this side up, I wonder if it means this way? Yeah, I bet you that's what it means. Because that went way further down. Okay, so, oops. Screw that. Line that up. So up is a really subjective thing, you know. It all depends on your orientation. That's why one of the funniest things that will happen to humans as we travel, become a more space dweller and kind of organism, is the idea that we are facing up or down. It's like, what does that mean? Okay. Oops. Don't forget this. Okay. Okay, we did it. Okay, so that's that. I think we're ready to go ahead and continue putting the motor back. So I'm a little concerned, right? I have some extra screws left over that don't make any sense. And that kind of like irritates me. But anyway, we'll move forward, and then we'll, if you know something, we'll figure it out. Remember this? Yeah. Okay. So that is a part of the on and off the ground. So, oh, sorry. So this slides into here. It grounds out when it hits that, and this shaft here will slide into here. So let's get that lined up. Right. Now this button here, right, the you can see it. No, I'll give you a back. Right, so right here, this goes underneath inside of this. Right, so this slides in, right, and that flat part there goes there. I'm just going to line the rewind up with the flywheel. So Like, there you go. Now it's lined up, right? Okay, so we have 4 screws that go into the metal, and then 2 that go into the plastic at the bottom. Okay. And they're all T25s also, so they look like this. So I keep grabbing the wrong stash. So I have 2 projects open, and I think that's where it's having some issues. And also there's some continuity. Like this thing has been spread out for over 4 months now. So those are the 4. And when you have something spread out for that long, you end up having issues with putting it back together. You know, unless you know this thing like really, really well. And I don't know these really well, so. Okay, so T25s. So what I'm advocating for is you can get this stuff done, get it done quickly. So the longer you wait, the more chances are you're gonna make mistakes. Part of the reason why I didn't get this done was if you have been paying attention to my channel, my Honda, my very old Honda, had a head gasket that blew and a whole bunch of other problems that I've just been ignoring. I got it from the original person I got it from. They didn't take good care of it, you know, but it was good enough to drive. I mean, in other words, they drove it without oil for like, or less than an ounce of oil for many months. And the car just hanged in there. It was amazing. Well, I got it. They drove it from Maryland to me. And can't complain. You know, the car was good for me for 6 years before I had to really like decide to like sit down and do a lot of work on it because it was under such neglect. Well, I did it. It took a whole month. Actually, it took 6 weeks, so a month and 2 weeks. And it was hard. I never rebuilt an engine from scratch. I mean, I've rebuilt small engines, but not like a big engine like that. But it was a fun project. I got to do a whole lot of stuff that got neglected. You know, like axles, axle boots. Also timing belt, so all kinds of things I hadn't done before. Detail these videos are, so I don't really leave much out, so you get to see everything, so don't be afraid. It's applicable to like pretty much most Civics you'll own. You can follow it and get a rough general idea. There's a lot of best practices in it, so you'll be able to see what to do to not screw yourself over too badly. Okay. We have these 2 coarse thread 225s here. Those 2. Because they're coarse, they go into the plastic, and that's down here. Let's get these in here. From the top. I have two really thick, I don't even know if they're part of this project. They're in the dish. They might have got confused the other. Before we go ahead and try to start this, I want to do a couple things. So here's the trigger for the throttle, right? I do want to lubricate this a little bit. So I'm just going to use a little oil, 3-in-1 oil. Put that back there. You want that to be as smooth as possible. Okay, so we took this limiter off so we can get a full range to adjust it appropriately for our, our current altitude. So that way the air pressure, whatever it is for now, where we are, we can actually adjust it, because over time these things don't make sense because the engine stuff, as it wears in, it will change the amount of fuel air mixture. And this has a limiter because it's a part of the EPA set in standards for to control pollution, which is beautiful and really important, by the way. I'll back you off a little. So what we have now, we got the oil cap. I didn't show you put that on, but anyway, this takes a gas and oil mixture. So how nice of them, just to remind you. And we got let's see, got a nice some lines in there. Fuel. You want to make sure the fuel line sits at the very bottom. So I'm just double checking that. The fuel filter, I mean, sorry. So that looks good. Because remember, the orientation of this is up and down, so that fuel filter needs to be at the very, 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 very bottom. So I'm just checking, because I did have a lot of extra line in there, because I didn't know how much to cut, because I can always cut more later, Okay, so that's that. Let's see, trigger feels good. Yeah, okay, so I think on and off switches, probably could have lubed that a little. Yeah, let's lubricate that also. That on and off switch is a little, can't really see, can you? On and off switch here. It's a little sticky. Probably should have done this when it was more apart, but that slides really well. I like it. Go did a good job. Okay, so that's on. We know we got spark. We got to put the spark plug back in. So let's make sure you can still see. So this is a I'm going to use the old spark plug because I think it's fine. You can see it ran a little, well, after I wipe it off, yeah, I removed the evidence. Yeah, I'm a forensic expert. This ran a little bit on the rich side at one time, you know, and not a happy. I wasn't happy. So this is a 13/16 spark plug. Nothing crazy. Else. Okay. Oh, I see. This little grommet-like boot is supposed to be in between the body. Okay. I'll read. And that's a good thing. Primer bulb won't return. So I have a feeling that we're gonna have to take that drill out this tank and make the wider fuel on there so I think it can breathe. Yeah. So some of you saw how this primer bulb got stuck. And I kind of knew this, I could have anticipated it. What's happening is the actual return, right, to the fuel tank. Remember how we fought and like squeezed that thing in there? It's just a little too small. So what's happening is that it just builds up pressure in the line, and then this thing will just not, you know, allow itself to like push all the air out of the line and enter into the fuel tank. So I'm going to have to do what I didn't want to do, which is I'm going to have to drill out the fuel tank and put the actual, just the larger fuel line on inside of the larger fuel line as they return. So, yeah. So watch, here we go. 1. It's already happening. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. Well, it doesn't want to do it now, but when it has fuel in it, forget it. That line gets any liquid in it, it just gets clogged. All right. So I wanted to test this again, right? So I just pulled it apart, I left it the way it is, and everything's still attached. Because I looked at the return, it doesn't look like it's too challenged when it's the diameter, you know. Before I go drilling holes, I put some fuel in it. Well, let's pump it together and see what happens. Did you like that move? I don't know what the heck that was. All right, so let's just get a feel. Okay, there's fuel coming in. Well, that's getting filled up. Return is working. Okay, now why did that not work yesterday? Okay, that's working. Can you see that? Look at all the bubbles. Okay. I don't know. I'm confused. Okay, so Alright, let's just clean this up a little here. This is getting flooded. I'm sorry. What just fell? Oh, the gasket. Okay. Okay, I don't know. Just everything looks fine to me. Let's just put it back together and go try to fire it up. So that works really well now. My problem is the line between the carburetor and the primer bulb. It was getting kinked. It was a little too long, so I just had to like. It's the short line too. So if you can remember, whatever the shortest line was, that one was like that long. I had to cut it back to like right there, and then now it's not kinked anymore. So hopefully we'll be able to get this started up pretty easily. I don't know. Let's see. Alright, let's see how this goes today. Somebody ordered a terrorist bomb. Oh, trash everywhere. Okay, so we have our... I think I want to give you a closer view. Okay, so right here we have our, this is our, we should be able to adjust the highs and lows. I mean, I don't know. We're going to adjust something from here. And that's great. The throttle cable's loose. Ah, Christ. Never mind. Now let's try this again. Okay, so you can see here, this limits the throttle, this screw. So that's going to limit the high. And this should be for the low, the idle. So we just got to adjust it, right? Alright, so we have the spark on. Let's give it a couple pulls. Wish for the best. What do you think? Yeah, don't answer. Awkward. Oh, we never runs. That's awesome. First time since this thing has been in my home. I have a lot of fuel, so this might not work today. Yes. Let's try that. Okay, change the choke. Some choke. No choke. Choke is off. Alright, half choke. The truth is, I think I'm running out of fuel. I don't really have a lot. you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just kind of playing around with the choke, seeing which top choke makes sense. I prime it a little bit every now and then. I think I'm running out of fuel. Yeah. That's what's happened. So, yeah. Some more. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
How you doing? Let's try it again. This would be a sweet spot. Gotta be a sweet spot. See you soon, good. I'll be doing that for a little bit, trying to figure it out. Bring it back when I got it all. So I found a bit of an issue here. Part of the reason why it feels like it sounds like it's starving for fuel is because the fuel line, right? I can't seem to keep the fuel filter just stands up too high. So see right there. So even when I push it down, it won't stay down. It kind of maybe it stays about right here. So all this fuel will be in there, and it's like starving for fuel. So I think I'm gonna pull the pull this line, the fuel line here, down so the filter is right at the bottom. But it's still going to be floating at the top a little bit, so it doesn't really, I don't know. It's either I get more fuel line in it that circles around and pushes down. That makes more sense to me, but right now I'm kind of stuck in between. So that's where I'm at. So let's fix that, and we should be able to test it. All right, we're back at this trimmer, and we tried a couple things. We rebuilt the carburetor, and you know, everything should have gone smoothly, right? So we think. So I got some shenanigans set up here to try to block the light because it's a little hard to see the dial. Now I want you to see what's happening with this carburetor. So I got a new carburetor. Not exactly proud of it because it's unlabeled, which makes it difficult for the next mechanic because they don't know what's gonna, you know, if it gets worked again ever again. They won't know what model this is. So let's just go back. This is the original carburetor that I rebuilt, right? And let's just take a look at this and see how this is set up, how this works. Now, I needed to do a vacuum test on this, right? And this is how this works, okay. When you push this primer bulb, I don't think they call it a primer bulb, but whatever. It has another name. Either way. So you push the primer bulb, right? This is what's happening. The fuel comes into the top of the carburetor where the diaphragm is. Right there on this top line. Right? Then it goes through the carburetor. Right? So that means it's coming in. And it stops. There's pressure that's being built up right here. Okay? So this is the tank. The tank is being pressurized. Right? So now we have high PSI in this line. Now the fuel comes out through here. So in other words, it has to stay, this diaphragm has to stay sealed. As in, no fuel or air should get past this diaphragm up here. Now, as the engine pulses, right, it creates a change in the air pressure. And then it goes through, this is what causes it to push the fuel through, you know, without you having to keep on priming it. Because there's no fuel pump on these engines. Now, the air pressure, as it goes up, right, it pushes on this line right here. And then the check valve closes and opens like that inside of here. So there's one, same thing that's happening here and there, happens over here in the primer bulb. Now, when you push on it, right, it creates suction through here, and it sucks fuel all the way through to there, up into there, and then it'll go through here. Then it pushes fuel back out on this line right here, the shorter line. This is going to be the return. Okay, so fuel will go through. So that's the whole path right there. In to the top, into the primer bulb, back through here, and out, right? So what we have is a primer bulb that has, you can check the primer bulb to make sure that it's properly sealed. But this needs to be pressurized. So watch this dial here and you'll see what happens, right? When we press this trigger to see if we're going to get any pressure that holds on this dial. You don't want to go any greater than 10 psi, right? So you can see what's happening. You can also hear it. Immediately it's like leaking leaking air right out. So there's something happening in here. There's a leak somewhere. Again, listen. And you can see it doesn't hold any pressure, right? And this is a Mighty Vac. This dial right here, this knob turns like that. And this is the vacuum check, and this is going to be the pressure test. So it's on pressure, right? Now let's take this old carburetor off. Right. It's the old carburetor. Grab the new carburetor. Oops, sorry. I'm going to put this on the smaller side down here. Like that. Almost there. Come on. A little less awkward angle. So I know that's going to be the in. Okay, so here we go. So that there. And the fuel's going to come in on this top side here. Okay. Now this side is going to be pressurized. Let's take a look as I pull on this. So watch the pressure dial, and it's in pressure test mode. That's 5 psi. I'm going to get a 10. You see how it holds? It doesn't have any pss, pss, like you're hearing sounds from the other carburetor. So that's, you know, this carburetor is actually sealing, and that's the reason why all the other times you try to keep this thing running, it's not running. It just will not run. You know, it can't. The diaphragm, or maybe the actual frame, the structure of this is like messed up. So we're gonna put in some water and test it. Okay, so you can see it holds. It creeps just a little bit, really slowly. It could be because of these connectors not being perfect, but either way, you can see where we're at. We're like 8 psi now. All right. So you push this bottom button here, and then it takes the pressure off. All right, let's do one more test so I can show you the actual carburetor submerged in water, and we can see it bubble up. So let's continue with the good carburetor, right? We have, oops, a little spillage. Can I say that I'm surprised that happened? No. Okay, so we have some water here, and we're going to place the good carburetor and submerge it. Right. Just want to see what's happening here. Okay. So I'm going to put some, oh, sorry. Alright. Okay, so put some, so we have 10 psi on here. See that? And there's no bubbling coming out of that. Right. Take that air out. Switch out the carbs. Okay. Okay, so what do we have here? Put on the small side here. Okay, so again, here's our container, and here is our, well, this is our old carburetor, the Walbro. I'm going to dip that here under water. Alright, we're going to pressurize it. See all the bubbles right there immediately? I'll bring you down a little closer. So I'm trying to pressurize the system, and immediately it just leaks. Right, so it's leaking right here. There's nothing I can do about that, right? Okay, so I could double check the needle and seat, see what's going on, because I think it's not sitted properly. But I mean, it's leveled out, you know, as it should be. And so that's how you know, like, there's not, at this point, right, I don't know what I could do at home that can solve this problem, because I can't, you know, I don't know what's broken inside the carburetor. I just know that this is a much more conclusive test versus me just kind of like haphazardly guessing. So you're going to have to do a pressure test sooner or later if you keep on working on these small motors, just to see if everything's fine. If you have any issues, run issues with your carburetors, okay? All right, so that's it. We checked it. You know, if you're looking at this video and you have this trimmer, you already know what the actual carburetor model is. So unfortunate for the next mechanic, they will not, unless they do some homework. All right. So this is the old carburetor, and I want you to see, actually you can see the leak. So this is, again, this is where the fuel comes in. Right? And I'm going to spray some WD-40 right on top of this here. And I'm going to squeeze this trigger. You can see that. See right by the needle. Air is just coming right out of there. So the leakage is right here where the needle is. It's just not seated properly anymore. And I wonder if we can. I wonder what happens if we just put. What would happen if we just push this down? What do you think? Do you know what I mean? What if we just like pushed it straight down? So I'm gonna put some more WD-40 on this. Alright. What if you push the needle just straight down? Just want to see if the failure is something to do with pressure. Yeah, let me do that. Yeah. Yep, there it is. Wow, interesting. See that? It's holding pressure. Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, it's a little weird. Oops, sorry. Yeah. See, it's at 10. Okay, so so that makes sense. Interesting, right? What do we have here then? Like the needle. I think the spring. My goodness, this is fascinating. Okay, you can see the bleeding out. I think the spring itself that pushes the needle down, maybe that's compromised? I don't know. What do you think? Alright, let me play around with this for a little bit. I'm gonna try to work on the spring tension. I can do it right now. Hold on. Let's just try to get it. Okay. So if I go like raise up like that. See if I go underneath the tab here, just kind of push up on it. Oops, sorry. Like that. Yeah, there it is. It's holding all right. See? It's holding. Okay. All right. It just let out the air pressure because I pushed that by mistake. One more time so you can see. No, actually, look, it's still at 5. Sorry. Oh my God, look at that. I raised up on that tab. Right? Now look, it's holding the PSI. Mm-hmm. So what did we learn just now? Always learning. Okay, so I wasted my money on a carb. Try to return that thing. But anyway, so that just needed to be lifted up to increase the pressure on the needle. Now that's lifted up. Oh, look at that. It's holding at 10 psi. See? All right, great. Live and learn. Live and learn, people. Live and learn. So a while back, I got this foam here for a project. I was building an Icarian Games chair. That's right, I said Icarian Games. You might want to look that up. So this air filter, it doesn't go all the way down to the end, right? And I don't want to buy another one. This was, I thought it would work because I got it from another project, but it doesn't seem to match the right dimensions for this filter. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to probably try to cut some of this off here and of this foam and just kind of get a feel. You know, I was like thinking maybe I can go like that, line it up, and draw a line like that across it. But then what came to mind was this doesn't really matter because if I can just cut it off into a smaller piece, it'll be more manageable, and I'd be able to like get it. Yeah, that was a great line, wasn't it? Okay. Don't say anything. All right, so I'm thinking I can just go like this. All right. Yeah, I'll just go all the way. I saw these guys, this foam place, they have this hot gun. This kind of gets hot and just does a number on this stuff, you know. So my only issue is I think I'm not concerned about the density of this foam. If it's too thick, it's going to choke it from breathing, you know. I don't know. Oh. I mean, one way to know, right? Let's just gotta try it. So I'm thinking we can go like this. We know we need it to be just a little bit longer. What do we have? So put that all the way in there and all the way down to there. That's going to be that much. So maybe something like this. From there to there. And add that. Right here. Okay. Going once, going twice. All right. All right. And just let's see. Hold that there. Oops. I just maybe mark the ends. All right, so that should give me my dimensions. This should work. That. Okay. Okay. That's better, right? Yeah. I think we're not going to have to worry about any crazy particulates coming into the engine. Yeah, I think that's a good approach. What do you think? All right, so I think that should work. You know, I never thought about just making my own filter, but either way, I don't know if this is the right dimensions either. So that's that. Looks like no fuel's getting in that primer bowl. On, put like full choke on. a screwdriver that I don't have with me right now. Alright, so we know it runs. We need to just adjust it now. So I'm gonna zoom in on, got you zoomed in on this so you can see. This is that is the idle. So this will take care of the low side. This would be the high side. So we'll adjust it to see how we can get it to run more optimal. Let's do half choke again. And then full choke. Half choke. Choke off. Let's go back to half choke. Full choke. Choke off. Half choke. Full choke. Half choke. I think you might have missed a lot. Let me back you out some. Alright, try this again.
Like, oh my god, he did this and this. Like, no.
Full choke. Let's go choke off. half choke. Alright, there's a lot of trial and error just to get this started. Let's see what we got. Full choke again. Dies down a bit there, doesn't it? So I'm just going to play it around a little bit back and forth, testing out what's going to get the engine warm enough so I can put it in full choke mode, and then that's where I'm going to finally do the adjustments for the carburetor and the high and lows. So I'll bring you back when I figure it out. Okay, so I switched out the carburetor with the new one that I bought. I thought every time I pull the trigger, the whacker, weed whacker would just like fall flat on his face. So it was obvious it was fuel related. So I'm bringing you back so you can see what's happening now. So it's got new carburetor, the new one installed. I got the engine warmed up, so it's got no choke. Let me choke off. Too little. no matter what I did, the carburetor, it's just was shot. There's nothing I can do. I couldn't save it. So I'll do a follow-up and check and see if the pressure, if it was able to hold pressure or not. But anyway, and everything is working good. I'll show you what's happening. The reason why I gave up is because the primer bulb, when I was pushing it on the other carburetors installed, it wasn't returning at all. See, this one returns quite easily, like that. And it's full of fuel. The other primer bulb, not so much. So it was at that point I realized, like, something's wrong with the pressure that's being built up coming into the carburetor. So forget it. Just get a new carb. Well, this one was a doozy. Hope you enjoyed this video. It runs great. I had to fine tune it just a little bit more to get the, the high running pretty smoothly. I just modified it just a little bit more with the adjusters. The carburetor, I never told you what it was. This is what it came. This is the carburetor. It's the part number X001LH043L. That's a replacement carburetor, and it has a high and low adjuster. You'll need a D, one of those D-shaped screwdrivers to adjust the carb. And it comes with, this kit comes with a new carburetor, fuel filter, primer bulb, 2 gaskets. They don't match the gasket size that's on the trimmer, so that wouldn't have been useless. 2 pieces of fuel line, and this one here, and it came with this smaller piece right here. Okay, so that's what you get, and hope that you liked the video. And this is the old carburetor. It's a shame. I did rebuild it. It was fun. Thought it would have worked. Anyway, like I said, when we just fall flat on its face. So, but learned a lot. Hope that you learned a lot too. Hope it makes your life a lot easier. And if you like the video, subscribe. Don't forget to thumbs up. And go ahead and leave a comment below. Let your friends know about the video also, if it helps them. Alright, thanks again for joining me on this little journey, and I hope to see you on the next thing that we repair. Alright, bye. Has anybody ordered the wolf? Whose dog is that? Oh, the old trash. Yeah. He's watching me, watching him. Oh God, he's coming for me. What do? Don't panic. How you doing, buddy? Yeah? How you feeling? Yeah, just working on my car. That's a big dog. That is a very big dog. What do you do when there's a wolf running wild in your neighborhood?